Midnight is a perfectly reasonable arena time, you know? It's nice and quiet. We can just let the Hearthstone happen. Be a good time. Hello, everybody. So, I did like a little wave there. You can't even see that. That's weird. Um, so, I'm still running through the arena, as per usual with the new set. I wanted to try out, again, wanted to give another class some time in the sun. And we have Warrior, which we've done. We got our choice between Warlock and Mage. I've been told by many people that Warlock is busted. Holy crap! You just go 12-0 picking it. Like what the hell? Like all sorts of hyperbole about how good Warlock is. But I'm more interested to see how Mage fares, in the sense that Mage was clearly, and without hyperbole, the best class in the arena pre-Mean Streets. Partially off of, part of that, like, being off of, like, the set bonus and having Firelands Portal and such, but really, mostly just off of removal, like, interaction is king, and Mage is one of the few classes that can, like, come back from a poor board state. Flame Strike, that's all. So, we're going to go ahead and jump in on Mage. From my knowledge of the Mage cards, so obviously nine Mage cards in the arena, we don't really. A lot of them aren't great, like flat. But we'll get to see how they truly perform. So.
My magic will prevail.
Well, good start. Clearly, we're going to be ignoring the Silithid Swarmer. We don't care about that in the slightest. I still don't trust Abomination, so I'm going to go with MCT here. MCT being that good old 3/3 that is the cause of every time we say there are no good plays in the game of Hearthstone. So let's make that true for our opponents. Alright, so this pick here is going to highlight my strategy and how I play Mage. And you've seen it inform a lot of my choices in other classes. I have two rules in the arena. I guess I should talk a little bit about these, and these kind of inform my my pick decisions. There's two rules in the arena. First, curve is everything. It's why I value 2-drops so much. The ability to play something early, the ability to play something like on time, keep the front foot. Curve is everything because being on the front foot is everything. And being on the front foot means that card advantage doesn't matter too much. But the second rule of the arena, interaction is also everything. Because there are going to be those games where you can't always be on the front foot. And no number of minions or without, 3/2s with no text are going to save you from that. So I'm going to be picking the Mirror Entity. It's not the best style of interaction, because it's just, more bodies on the board, it's not flat removal. But secrets are a type of interaction. Let me... Anyway, we're going with Mirror Entity here. Duplicate is not the style of, Duplicate isn't my style of interaction. But, again, Curve is key, and Twisted Worgen is also... Not only is Twisted Worgen a 2-drop on time... 2-drop on time, but being able to stealth means it's also secret damage. Rule 3 of my 2 rules of Arena... I should probably rethink that. Is that secret damage, or the reach, isn't key, isn't the way to win, but it gets you games. Alright, we have a new card here in Cryomancer. Cryomancer is actually quite good. A little less good because Snow Chugger doesn't exist in the arena, which is a bit sad, but it's really good with, like, in turn with Water Elemental. And a couple other cards in Mage. So, and even base, it's a 5-mana 5/5. So, that's great. However, it's up against some really good curve cards. Zombie Chow being the one I think I'll pick here. That's the... Just because we've seen Zombie Chow in the past for the last, I don't know, year and 2 years now, on how powerful it is at early board control, and the drawback being largely irrelevant. So we'll pass over the Cryomancer. I'm a bit sad about that. Well, I say quite good in the sense that I respect Pit Fighter, and this is a Pit Fighter -1/-1. It's very hard for you to get it off, but I accept a 5-mana 5/5. So, alright, Frostbolt goes in our both Rule 2 and 3. Interaction is everything, and secret damage is the key. Also works well if we end up with some Cryomancy, which is a bit more of a thing with this expansion. So... Ooh, okay, so Vaporize is strong. It's a, removal, so it's a piece of interaction. It's a secret, which means it's sort of AI affecting. I talk about that a lot in Magic, but secrets have that ability in Hearthstone where it's like, oh, I have to play around the mirror entity. I have to play around. So they make different plays. Second-rate Bruiser, however, has the possibility of being curve breaking. If you're able to play this on 3 as a 4/5 taunt, because your opponent played Devious Ringleader, because your opponent played Tuskar Totemic, because your opponent played Bilefin Tidehunter, because your opponent played Tusker, you all of a sudden, the board flips. And I'm going to pick Second-Rate Bruiser based on that. It's a little sad because I do like Vaporize, and having the Vaporize would actually make me really want to take copies of Mad Scientist, if they're given, but I still might pick the Mad Scientist anyway, even with just the Mirror Entity. Yeah, and even just base, like if I'm paying mana cost on this, you're playing a Fen Creeper shifted a little bit. You're flipping a power and toughness. A little weaker, maybe, but I'm gonna pick the Shattered Sun Cleric here. Over the Cryomancer. I only have the Frostbolt right now to go with the Cryomancer. If I had a little more, like if I already had a Water Elemental, maybe I'd care about that. But Shattered Sun Cleric can let you do some up swings, and well, I mean, we know how this card functions. We have a couple mediocre cards here: Red Mana Worm and Arcanosmith. I'd put them solidly in the I would not be too disappointed to have Arcanosmith, and in this deck, I wouldn't be too disappointed in Red Mana Worm. But we're going to go ahead and pick Boneguard Lieutenant as a very powerful 2-drop that can stay relevant. Cavalier Raider, Mech Warper, Spawn of Inzoth. Now, we don't have any mechs at the moment, but I still think I want the Mech Warper for the curve. Cavalier Raider is a close second, though. I, again, value 2-drops very highly to keep board presence in my hands. And hopefully later we'll be able to get the cards to flip the table, to seal the deal, as it were, a bit later. Okay, another second-rate Bruiser. That could be a buster, like if we're just guaranteed to have one of those. We know and love Demolisher. Demolisher fits in the interaction slot, but also in the, unpredictability slot. Unstable Portal, though, takes that unpredictability and cranks it up to 11. Unstable Portal can be... On average, it's fair to play on 2, because you're liable to get something between 1 and 3 on a much higher chance than you are top end, because that's just how the cards work. We talked about yesterday when we were doing a stream, we talked about Forbidden Shaping and how there's only something like 16 8-drops in the game, and there's maybe a dozen 10-drops. Things like that. So you're a lot more liable to get the lower end because there's something like 100 112 2-drops in the game. With the new expansion, I think it's less than 112. It's close to that. I know that the odds of getting a specific minion out of a piloted shredder are now less than 1%. Anyway, I am going to take the second rate bruiser so that we can have a more guaranteed rate of this. And it also gives us some more defense going on. We'll hopefully get some more... If we had more of a spell-heavy thing going on, I would be much more liable to take that. With the second rate bruisers here, I'm thinking I want to pick that Ancient Brewmaster. Has a good body, can do some resetting on the bruisers. And we have a couple coming to play effects. Twisted Vorgan, sort of. I can go ahead and pick it up. Infested Torrent's just not very big. I don't know. I am fine playing this card in an Inzoth deck. I'm less fine with it in most other lists. Let's pick up the brew. Well, here we've got a couple kind of funky options. A neutral demon. That's nifty. Freezing potion. That's not worth a card most of the time. And then we have Lowly Squire, which is the actual pick here, as it's an actual playable card. What does anyone think of Eternal Card Game? I've seen it played. It looks pretty much like Magic with a Hearthstone interface, which is to say, good. I'm going to pick the Lowly Squire because I don't believe in the Freezing Potion. I talked about it earlier. There are reasons I would pick Freezing Potion. Like, say this was Wisp or something, I would not pick the Street Trickster. I would rather pick the Freezing Potion over that. But we're going to go ahead and pick the Lowly Squire. Hopefully, again, we can get some board control. Jeweled Scarab versus Scarlet Crusader. Big fan of the ability to get us, like, generating cards. Ravnica went well. It was a very fun deck. We had some kind of funky things going on. Like, the deck was not really the direction I expected. But I had a lot of fun with it. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the Jeweled Scarab. Okay. 3 cards I don't want. Back to the card quote. I'd pick Freezing Potion over Wisp. Yeah, that's a box quote. Is Mirror Image pickable? I don't like it. I don't like Red Monoworm, though, because I only have 2 spells right now. And Raid Leader doesn't do too much. F. I don't think Red Monoworm is fine. Like, look at this deck right now. We're halfway through build, and I have 2 spells. 2.5 if you're, like, willing to actually count Jeweled Scarab, which I think 2.5 is fair there, because it's very likely to pick up a secret. And I don't think this card is good at all unless it has even a single activation. Like, I don't want a 5-mana 2/6, ever. A 5-mana 4/6? Alright, I'll play that. 2/6, not so much. That said, Mirror Image does very little for us. We don't have any minion interactions. We don't have anything like the Raid Leader. We can use it to, like, try to protect a Bone Guard Lieutenant early. Yeah, I don't like any of these picks. I'm gonna go with the Mirror Image. Oh, oof, okay. We got nothing here. I'm not a fan of the Tentacle. If I want something like this in this class, I'd rather have the Sheep, because I can ping it. I don't like Strict Trickster. It's doubly so when I only have 1 spell it can affect, and Bloodfen Raptor is acceptable. Good cards on 2. Do I want more 2-drops, or do I want Violet Illusionist? Violet Illusionist has very little going on for us. Sorcerer's Apprentice has a couple interactions. Like, we only have 3 spells, but it does make, like, Mirror Image 0, Frostbolt 1. And it's a Bloodfen Raptor. Let's go that route. Bone Guard Lieutenant for Spectral Knight. I'm gonna pick Bone Guard Lieutenant and say that we've kind of filled out our 2-drops on our curve. And now we need to focus a little more on 4s to fill out this downswing. We want to have it look like a mountain, like this. So we need to fill out this area here. 3s and 4s are now important. But Bone Guard Lieutenant's quite powerful. Kabal Lackey, Raging Worgen, Flying Machine. Raging Worgen's okay in class. I don't dislike the Spectral Knight. I just like having a curve more than I like having that 5. And I think that I can pick up the bigger things later. The next secret you play costs 0. No, it's only 1. It's a 2-1 with no text other than Mere Entity. I don't like that because I never want to do that. Hey, congrats. That's not a play I actually want. Like, Kabal Lackey into Mere Entity is just like, you get a Bloodfen Raptor. Good job! Let's go with the Worgen. Alright, piece of interaction. This is a fake 2-drop as well. It's not a real 2. I've probably talked about fake 2s versus real 2s. This is a fake 2-drop. This is a fake 2-drop. Things like that. Hey. Huzzah, I'm not happy with a deck unless it has something like 25% 2-drops. Like, 1 and 2s combined. Like, I want to have almost 10 plays in that slot, which I am at now. Babbling Book is still the pick here. These were the first 2 cards we had to pick at. But Babbling Book is a powerful one that gives us reach outside of what we usually have access to. If we didn't have an MCT, I'd value MCT a little more, but we already have one. That's not a 4 I want. I just want more 2s. How many Bloodfen Raptors is too many? The answer is none. We can have as many as we want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's fine. Hey, another Mere Entity. Let's go ahead and pick that up. Have we seen anything over 5? We saw a War Golem that I wasn't going to pick. We aren't choking on him. This one's an obvious pick. Ooh, okay. Interesting question. We have Potion of Polymorph versus Flame Waker. Potion of Polymorph is like a Mere Entity, but rather than I get a copy, it's they just get nothing, which can be much more of a downside for them. Say our opponent plays Stormwind Champion and expects to be able to make trades. All of a sudden, they play it, and it's like, aha! You know, they can't. What's our spell count? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half, 5, 6, 7 and a half. Flame Waker seems like it has a lot of value going on here. If we can get 1 activation out of it, that'd be perfect. Let's go ahead and try that. Goodbye, Potion of Polymorph. If we didn't already have a pile of Mere Entities, I'd value you a little more. I think the Refreshment Vendor sounds fine here. Jungle Panther's also okay. Again, as a sort of like a stealth thing, like Twisted Worgen. Maybe that's alright. I want to hand off. Yeah, let's get the Refreshment Vendor. Hey, Spellslinger. You're against 2 cards that aren't terribly great. But you're another spell. Spider Tank versus a card I don't want and a card I don't want. Alright, so our 3s are filled out. Oh, Kabal Crystal Runner with a couple spells. If we play 1 Mere Entity, we got a 4-mana 5/5 on our hands. I think that's much more pickable than the other 2 here. Mere Entity into that makes for a good curve. I'd like it a little more if we had picked the Potion of Polymorph, and there is Injured Blade Master in the pack, but we're kind of set on 3s. Let's go ahead and try to get some top end going. To that end, I'm actually going to pick Worgen Greaser here, just to have something big to play out. Alright, Wobbling Runs can be our final card. So we're a bit more of an aggressive deck. The only card I don't think makes sense in here is Refreshment Vendor, but that's alright. Yeah, we are the aggro mage, which is where I like being the aggro, and I like being the mage. Not a lot of top end for us, and not a lot of new cards. We saw a couple. We were playing Second Raid Bruisers, Kabal Crystal Runner, Worgen Greaser, but like overall, we didn't actually pick a lot of the new things. The Cryomancers we didn't pick because we aren't going to freeze anything outside of R1 Frostbolt, and We're not going to get destroyed by a 1-mana 2/2. We're going to play Zombie Chow and destroy the 1-mana 2/2. It's sweet. No, we kill that. That'll be fine. Man, everyone's really down on this deck. You can go ahead and, now is a good time for you to go ahead and make your predictions on it. I'm going to put this solidly in the 5/3 in my mind. This feels average. Wow. 4 and 20. Okay, this is a full mulligan because we do want to, yeah, like, the missing piece, I feel, is like a Flame Strike or some sort of board clear to get the board back under control. We don't really have that. We're full mulling because 1s and 2s are a little more important for us in order to, especially against the rogue. Alright, we got nothing. That's sort of incredible. Okay, Swashbuckler, good play. So we'll go ahead and Bloodfen Raptor. Neutral minions for days. Infinite neutral minions. Yeah, the Swashbuckler is a very strong card, so we're going to go bump up. I'm going to play Raging Worgen and pass. They are going to coin out a 4 at me at that point? I don't know. Yeah, this is not a hand I'm a big fan of. Basically, one of the other things, like, sort of unstated power levels of cards, is that when you see a bunch of brown, you know, the gray in your hand, you can basically assume your cards are of lower value. Coin into... The heck are you doing there? Oh, healing for 2. I forgot. Excuse me? I'm just getting a 2-for-1? Yeah, let's not be coy about this. They even broke their weapon for some reason. Let's go Vendor instead. They use the coin, so Vendor's a little safer, because I don't want to heal our opponent more than that. If they play a 5/4 here, I can go ahead and play Shattered Sun Cleric and punish. If they played a 4/5 there, I could go ahead and Shattered Sun Cleric plus ping and punish. Instead, we're going to get a Babbling Book. That's a good spell. Let's go ahead and clean out and get the board under our control. It is likely the 0-0 bracket is the place where, you know, you expect to play against newer players. Though I try to play as though every opponent is a strong opponent. Never make assumptions like, if you make assumptions like that, you're a lot more liable to make mistakes. You know what, let's pick up the Babbling Book. We're also in the realm where I want to put down Mirror Entity next turn. Now our hand looks beautiful. Okay, we get the kill on that. I don't recognize card backs other than, like, Legend. Alright, look at our hand. I'm always happy to see this much freaking, like, gold around, you know? Like, or, I'm sorry, blue. Like, class spells. Oh. Let's put up some secrets. portal's here. So I've got Counterspell in case of something huge like that. Dang! They also didn't just kill the 5-1. 23, 20, 15, 10, 5, 2, 1. I'm putting them at 9 so that they die within the next turns here, even if they board clear. Which they only had the one Mage spell, so I don't expect them to board clear with anything other than Spell Power plus Fan, which I don't expect, or Dark Iron Skulker, which I have this and this as defenses against. The Mirror Entity won't trigger because I have a full board, but I'm fine with that. I don't care. There's no minion they could play that I would really... Like, at this point in the game, it's fine that the Mirror Entity's off. Yeah. Anyway, at this point, we go ahead and... okay. So that went well. The turning point of that match was clearly the 2-for-1 plus my ability to play a minion on 4. That was the point where my opponent had an unrecoverable state. Everything that went past that, we were able to keep the board clear in our path. Good night, Gnome. I was very happy at the point where our hand turned from all gray cards to all blue cards that were like interaction in pieces. That's always nice to see. I want to try to at least analyze these a little better for the... I don't know, I like to talk out my plays, and Hearthstone gives me the ability to, a little more so. We're going to mulligan off the Wobbling Runts and try to keep that second-rate Bruiser and see what happens with it. Could backfire, but we already have a 1 and we have a ping, and we have a lot of 2s in our deck. Like, the odds right now of drawing a 2-drop are something like 44%. Though that is counting our Frostbolt and our Flame Cannon. So, well, let's put that down to like 37-ish%. We have 2 draws as well. Plus the ping. We're not a class that really feels too bad about fading on 2. Okay, and we get some more pieces of interaction from the book. Good to see. This makes it a little hard for our opponent to play aggressively. The book's big power is... And of course, here we are. The odds pay off. So the big power of the book, and we talk about the book and Swashbuckler being very powerful cards without stating why. And what they do is basically give you a second ping early without costing you card advantage. So, you know, I play a Babbling Book, and my opponent couldn't coin into a Raptor there because I just go ahead and take it out. That's a safer one because I can't ping to kill it. What I can do, however, though, is play Flamewaker and trade with it. Which I think looks like the play today. Coin. Which puts them down a card if they go ahead and play a 2. Especially if they coin into the 2 and I go, like, bump ping. Then they're behind, they no longer have the coin advantage. And they've lost their point of card advantage. So basically, they've been put on an even... playing field that isn't actually that even. Let's go Working Greaser and allow you to bump this off. That's okay. If you want to ping that, that's fine. The 6-3 is a very effective front foot with the second-rate Bruiser to block for it. So, waiting for the coin play. Like, what's that going to do? Like, is that going to be a 5? Is that going to be... Are we just going to try... Are we trying to coin for some sort of value out of a Flamewaker out of your own? Or maybe you just don't have the right curve for it. Another one, eh? No. Dang. Okay. That's fine. This is a place where a second-rate Bruiser gets to gets to come on down. Well, the other thing about the power of both Swashbuckler and Babbling Book is that they give you access to cards your deck did not contain. They do not draw you a card closer to Fatigue. They do not draw you some sort of card that you put in your deck. They give you outside information. They give you something special. Maybe you didn't know you needed or know you wanted. Or maybe they give you something poor. But a lot of the times, it's more of a, oh, now I'm unpredictable. What is this card? In a constructed match, that matters more, the unpredictability. Here, it doesn't matter, because there's no way they can know what my power cards are. But that would explain why they were holding the coin. Explain it pretty hard.
Time runs out on me.
Yeah, fatigue isn't real in an arena. I'm more talking in the abstract there, if that makes sense. They could coin Flame Strike at me? I don't want to deal with this. Choices.
I wonder.
Because I play a second-rate bruiser. I'm not thinking about coin Flame Strike to kill Yeti. I'm thinking Lowly Squire, Raging Worgen, ping that, attack that. Which brings me into a pretty Flame Strikeable board. Let's call your bluff. If you have it, I'm quite behind. If you don't have it, I'm quite ahead. Crab Spite brings up the actual point here. Can you actually play around it? No. So that's why I did not. The play I could have made to play around it would not have gotten me the board back, and that means it's a poor play in the first place. This play here means that, bump, and then I ping it off. Or if, removal happens here, I can use Arcane Blast, ping it off, along with playing a second-rate bruiser. If my opponent overcommits, I can punish the heck out of an overcommit. I can't, Flame Strike an overcommit, but I can punish it. My MCT plus second-rate bruiser give me some pretty hefty options there if they all of a sudden win up to 4 minions. Which they could. Something like 2-drop coin Silverhand Knight. There's options. We'll see where this leads. I want to... Second-rate bruiser, again, is going to be... So, this card right here, Lowly Squire, is very powerful as far as a 1-drop goes, because it gets out of control very quickly and can trade up. Oh, that's an effective play. I'm probably just going to Arcane Blast that. That makes a lot of sense. If my opponent plays a 3rd minion, I'd be happy about it. Ooh, sweet. Can't play it, though. What can I do here? Not much. I'm going to go ahead and play out the MCT because my opponent hasn't put out minions very heftily at me. Well, thank you. No, I never did any sort of school radio thing, though I've been thinking deeply about it in the last couple months. Oh, boy. All right. Just the gates are open, huh? You're demanding a 2-for-1 out of me. What do we want to do? How do we want to deal with that? I'm thinking... So we could play out Wobbling Runts and try to do some sort of play in that direction. But that also gets punished very hard by something like a Polymorph. And with our opponent's light minion plays, I feel like they actually do have at least one piece of interaction in their hand. The line I'm going to go with is second-rate bruiser and ping and no attacks. So that they would have to trade here. If they Flame Strike, they would have to trade here. Or actually, they have the coin still, so they could coin ping. Again, but they didn't Flame Strike 2 turns ago, which was the perfect moment to do it. So I don't believe in the Flame Strike. What I do believe in is that I need to make plays. I'm currently down on cards on my opponent, but Wobbling Runs can make that up. And the damage I can get, I can also try to make that up out of Raging Worgen, if possible. Is that a Fireball? Polymorph, good! Perfect. I suspected something like that was around. And this is a good time to get rid of it, because we get to play the Wobbling Run. Ooh, we're burning the coin, and they're going to get board advantage. This gives them... That could end poorly for them. Okay, I'm going to go 6 and 3 here. The idea behind not using the ping and using the 1/1 is that I feel the Mirror Entity is a little more powerful in the abstract. So, lines we could use. I could just ping that off and keep the 1/1 around, but the 1/1's already dead. And getting use out of the 1/1 means that it's... We're this late in the game, mana advantage isn't as huge anymore. And this could pay off huge dividends if my opponent plays another minion like the Lord of the Arena. So, we're going to take that up. Our pocket card is poor, Bloodfen Raptor, but we knew that going into this game. This is how the deck played out. We need to cement an advantage early, and we haven't truly been able to do that in this game. So we have to play we have to play sharply in order to make sure that we're able to keep our advantage. If they have another Polymorph, that would be poor for us. That's actually the worst case. The best case here would be something like, I don't know, War Golem sized. Technically, I think Force Tank Max would be the world's best play for us. We would get a Force Tank Max, they wouldn't be able to ping off the Divine Shield, we would be able to ping off the Divine Shield, they would have to use their Water Elemental to ping off the Divine Shield, and then we'd ping off their Divine Shield and kill their Force Tank Max for free, and get their Water Elemental for free. I'd call that best case scenario for us. What I really want is something like a Yeti Plus out of the Mirror Entity, and my hope is that my opponent doesn't really have any small minions for us. We do have the kill on this, which is pretty simple. It's just ping and attack, which I'll go ahead and take on my next turn. It is not too hard to play a small minion and then big minion. You are correct. Oh, that's good. So we're going to go ahead and take out the... We're going to take that out and present a board. Yeah, on 9 mana, it's not too hard to, do that. Where you are able to make a small play than a big play. I was hoping that my opponent's hand was just big plays because they'd been kind of fading on turns where they could have made small ones. But I see why. This makes sense to fade on. You want to play this when it has the most effect. Or a beneficial one to you, and there never really was a point where 1 damage was super beneficial. That's why it was a pocket card on the left. Spiteful Smith's pretty strong. This is good. I kill that flat. I just go bump, bump, ping, and then we're down cards a little bit, but we have a bunch of 2/2s. Hopefully we can make up cards. Ooh, that's strong play. Good play. Good choice. I don't care to brew this to reset its toughness. Alright, so let's go ahead and... These are 1, right? They're 2. That's fine. So we're going to pick up the... Which one do we want? Who do we want to pick up? Rascally, Wily, or Grumbly? We'll pick up the Wily round. Hey, buddy. Now, the plan here is, again, we're going to ping the Spiteful Smith, and you need to go over there now. Technically, that's a poor play, because it makes Cone of Cold more beneficial to them, but, well, actually, no, it doesn't. Cone of Cold's always good for them. There's no downside. Wow, Questing Adventure this late isn't really that good. What was your top? That's a dead card. That's a hyper dead card. Okay, so check out this. We finally get a board in the way that we get to fully answer things. Oh, that's perfect. All right, so check out this. So we're going to go ahead and spend the 2/2 over here, a ping plus Wily run over here, and then we're going to run Ancient Brewmaster into here. We'll be left with a 2/1 and a 5/1. 5/1's going to die. But Mirror Entity ensures that a top deck war, we come out ahead. So let's go ahead and make the plays in that order. So this is dying, but now, with Mirror Entity, we actually are very ahead. Something like Kazan Mystic or Eater of Secrets are the only real cards I fear anymore, which is good. I'm glad that we've turned this into a game of an even board. Okay, that's pretty fair. Now, hopefully we get... That is an excellent top deck right now. I get the feeling that the Twilight Elder is the best here. Actually, nah. Let's go Injured Blade Master. Most power. And let's put our opponent to the sword. The idea here is that I'm expecting my opponent's top decks to be about 3 to 4 cost minions on average. Something like a Yeti. That's usually what I assume my opponent's going to be throwing down in this circumstance. Any less than that, something like that, is heavily in our favor. So this sort of play here, that's a really interesting attack because I get to ping you off. Sorcerer's Apprentice, yep. Alright, so we go ping off, attack here, attack here. We're good. Pretend you have a Cthulhu. So, obvious ping, and then whatever they top decked. And hopefully it's not a large taunter. That's actually a very ineffectual creature. If we draw Fireball or Frostbolt, our opponent is dead. Another Bloodfen Raptor means I can make this attack and not feel bad about it. So the reason I didn't pocket this as an anti-sweeper tech is because I wanted to have lethal damage. The Sorcerer's Apprentice is about to get pinged off, and 4 plus 5, 1 is 5. We wouldn't have lethal. So I chose to make the lethal attacker play. How many literal raptors do we have? We have 2 actual copies of Bloodfen Raptor in our deck. Technically, if I wasn't winning here, it would have been better to Frostbolt a minion, but we were winning, so that play is irrelevant. Yeah, I think it's 2 literal raptors and a couple more theoretical ones. Yeah, so 2 actual Bloodfen Raptors, 2 Bone Guard Lieutenants, and a Sorcerer's Apprentice as Bloodfen Raptors. We have a Mech Warper as our River Crocolisk, and then we have a couple other standouts. We have, Jeweled Scarab and Twisted Worgen. Our 2-drops are very hefty. We have a lot of those, which I think is to our advantage. It means that our top decks in the late game there are poorer, but that just means we have to play correctly to make sure that the situation we find ourselves in at the end of the game is in our favor. Obviously, our theoretical raptors are much stronger than raptors because they're 3/3s than 3/4s. They actually work very well in the late game. They're a spider tank usually on the turn they attack. Okay, Lily Squire's good. I'm willing to keep that. I'm also willing to keep Flame Cannon, so let's go ahead and burn off these 2. Okay, Kabal Crystal Runners, okay, here, maybe we see a Mirror Entity and it gets better. Like, barring discounts and weird thing, like, interesting plays, or like a Fangrel on a Druid of the Saber, or not Druid of the Saber, Mech Bear. We are going to go with the Lily Squire. This is a effective answer to any play that comes down here, as I can ping, plus attack. My hope is that it's Hero Power Pass. That would be excellent if I saw a rogue that was that far back. There's a 2-mana 4/4. There's a 2-mana 3/3. There's a 2-mana 3/4 that everyone plays in Constructed. There's a 6-mana... I don't want to go about this. Yeah, sorry, that's what I'm thinking about. Dust Minion has the sentence I was thinking but couldn't put out there because I was thinking of the Druid, not the Robocub. The Robocub is the one that's a 3/3. I don't like how much of the back foot it puts me on to, like, ping and attack that.
I wonder.
So I'm not going to do it. A bit funky. I went with the Bloodfen Raptor because that trades. It's something I can handle more. This thought process is, ooh, please let me top deck the something sweet here. If I can, okay, yeah, you have to make that attack. Shattered Sun's good. However, I think the play here is coining into a ping on you and an attack on you. And we'll pass. So the thought process there, I guess if we would have drawn our bodyguard, that would have looked excellent. Our 5/4. Taunts on both sides, yes. 6 mana 7/7. I swear there's a 6 mana 7/7 in the game. No, there's a 5/7, there's a 7/6, there's a 6/7, obviously, the Ogre. I guess there's 7/7 worth of stats in the Say Hello to My Little Friend guy. That's a 6/6 on a 1/1. I like that card a lot. I haven't seen that card offered to me. That's a neutral, right? Like, I haven't seen it offered ever in, like, the last, like, 6 arenas. That's a new card. Anyway, the play here, I think, from our opponent is likely... That's an interesting one. It makes things a little more difficult to play around. That could be...
This guy's toast.
I can answer that board. Let's just go with the Spider Tank. This 1/1 isn't scary enough for me to want to ping, especially not for the cost of messing with my development, my board position. This is really good. We're going to be using Flame Cannon to hefty advantage here. And we get a 1-drop in there, too. So we get some damage, Flame Cannon, and a 1-drop. Perfect. Crystal Runner's not so great when we aren't heavy secrets. We had the bite at about 5 or 6 throughout. Potion of Polymorph was the only one I actually was thinking about, but mostly the fact that we had a lot of mirror entities. I can kill that very simply. Okay, that's a little more of a threat. What do we want to do there? Could just slam out Wobbling Grunts and accept a couple losses, but I feel like that's a risk I don't need to take. So I'm going to make trading plays because my opponent's low on cards and my cards are pretty high value at the moment, which is a rarity for our deck. So I'm going to I'm trying to make it so like they have this attack, and then we get to buy back with like Wobbling Grunts. Interesting to use a backstab there when you have a free attack. That makes more sense. Doubly interesting. Okay, can we top deck our 5/4? That would be excellent right now. I would like a 3-mana Taunter here. It would be a very powerful play. Thank you. So we can do this. This is a play I easily wanted because we get to play this out, you know, ping that off, attack, and then it's their whole board plus their weapon to answer the taunt here. Odds of drawing this are pretty hefty because there's 2 on our deck. That was a 1 in 10. Bog Creeper, alright. We can answer that on the board if they don't kill my thing, which they didn't, which is an interesting choice, seeing as I can kill their Bog Creeper. Gonna take the kill on the Bog Creeper and play out Wobbling Grunts. Wobbling Runts is a pretty good piece of control for the board at the moment with what they have, being that it does answer. Do you have a sap? A sap would be pretty powerful here. But our life total isn't too low, so I wouldn't be super threatened by a sap. That's interesting. You have an Eviscerate. If you do, this is not going to end well. Interesting. A Kidnapper. Very intriguing. Opponent's empty-handed, and we can put them down to 2 cards in play. I'm feeling okay on the game. Again, we're going to replay the Wobbling Runts. They have even better control because they can kill this. I was expecting something like a... I guess this is a sap, so... we need our opponent's card to be slightly irrelevant. That is not really the irrelevancy I was looking for, especially with how quickly we are getting beat down here. I do not have a lot of time left in this game. It's a Bog Creeper by another name, and we're taking 11 on the turn. I need to definitely make an impression on the board. How best to do that? Yeah, Bog Creeper. Well, Bog Creeper would have been better for us, but we'd be dead back, because that'd be 6, 11, 13. So the fact that it's not Bog Creeper means we lose. 6 drops a 5/5, no text.
I wonder.
I think the 6 is getting played here, and then the rest of the team is getting down.
One's out on me.
This attack's happening. Alright, let's get as much of a board as possible. We're going to 2 here. We're going to need to draw another second-rate bruiser very quickly in order to not die to hero power. And we're also going to need to make short work of their board. I didn't play the Greaser because I wanted the most minions in play. I hope that's very bad for us. If we actually go to 2 here, we can't kill that. Okay. I'd like to think that this is over unless we top deck something of immense value. I mean, that's an incredible card. And it does mean I can now answer their board with impunity, but it is too late.
Well played.
Thank you, my friend.
Well played.
Yeah, because I can go ahead and fireball this. This is a nail in the coffin.
Well played. Well played. Time runs out on me.
Oh, you're right. This would have board clear. Obviously, fireball the Greaser, and then the grease gets all over them. So yeah, Squid does kill us. That's fine. The Kidnapper was a very key turn. I talked about how Sap was a card that would have gotten us very badly, and Sap on a body meant that they were able to push pressure much heavier than Sap alone would have been. Though Sap in a 5/3 format of 5/3 would have been the exact same play as Kidnapper. Yeah. Again, looking in our deck, the only cards that could have pulled us out were Second Rate Bruiser and Refreshment Vendor, though Refreshment Vendor only buys us 1 turn. Yeah, their deck was all about getting a board behind a big taunt wall and then going face, which is a very good plan. Ancient of Blossoms and Bog Creeper do that very well. It's funny to think that without that death rattle +2 for their minion, we might have had a chance still. A lot of damage we could have put on our opponent, and with the fireball, maybe a lethal threat. But yeah, the kidnapper was definitely the point where the game turned from all right to not too bad, not good for us. I think this also showed off the a bit of a weakness in our 6-mana 5/5 with no text. We don't really have the secrets for it, but the other two picks it was against were also not very
Ask for it.
powerful. So, good curve. Would like a zombie chow or something to start this off. That's fine. I'm okay with the Twisted Worgen here. Rogue has a couple spells that can kill it, but they're not very powerful. Like, if this were a mage, it'd be a lot easier. Twilight Flamecaller and all that. I'm seeing Twisted Worgen, Spider Tank, Worgen Greaser. We're just going to play our neutrals. We had one turn to deal 22 damage is the issue. I think we could have dealt 22 damage. This is a good card. Okay. Not too annoyed with that. That's actually pretty cool to see. We might be able to, like, bust up this to get down that. Like, we could affect the number of minions that they control in order to play the second-rate bruiser for on the cheap. Should be nice, you know, if I make our opponent do some interesting plays. Oh, well, then there's Shadow Strike, which makes us look fine, I guess. We're going big, so this is going to be the Greaser. We're going to pass. We're going to see maybe they have like a Backstab. That'd be good. A lot of obvious cards they can have that make this, you know, bad, but this is a very effective, huge threat. It means they can't really even, like, coin the combo 3/7 that becomes a 6/7. You know, that's a very powerful 4, especially if they save the coin. That might have been something they were planning. But with this plus ping, we have the answer just flat. Yeah, Worgen cards don't really have a theme. Like, there's like, you know, ooh, you're going Jade? Interesting. Six to the dome. So the reason I got rid of the Jade Golem is so the Jade Spirit is so it couldn't have been Shadow Stepped or something like that. This also tells me there's a very high likelihood of Jade Shurikens showing up. So they might have that 2 damage to kill off the... Well, that's okay. Could have been worse. We're going to get hefty damage on our opponent. This is 10 points right now. This is very powerful. Just put our opponent to the sword. Coin 2? Do you have the Jade? Excuse me. Where did you think you were aiming that? That's not your head. Is that a misclick?
You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
We're going to be using Forgotten Torch to kill that. Ooh. Found the potion here. So let's put our opponent to 14 without a easy way on board. They also spent the coin there too. That was a very interesting play. And I use interesting in a sort of like, that's a wacky, maybe I don't understand it play, because they took 2 damage they didn't need to. This really didn't advance the board much. Tazdingo doesn't really do anything. Are you dead? Yeah, they're dead. I assume you can spot the lethal, because chat always knows where the lethal is. If you do see the lethal, You have a second, and then I'm going to explain how, say you fireball the shield master, we would have 10, 11, 12, 13. That's not enough, so you actually have to split it 4 plus 1, which gives us 7, 8, 14. The big trick there is noticing that you can't just fireball the minion out of the way, which is generally my first instinct. So go fireball. The lethal check is something that you should, like, playing Hearthstone and more so in the arena, you kind of want to just have, like, this unconscious subroutine, for lack of a better term, that just, the moment your turn starts, evaluate the board. Evaluate your opponent's life total. What can you do? So, it's... And I'm definitely, like, I'm not above forgetting it, or just, like, missing, Funkelmus with the backup. I could have given the +1/+1 on this with the Sunfire Cleric for the extra point of damage. That would have been more style. You show more cards. But yeah, it's just something I'm sure speaking of the choir here, I'm sure every single person listening to this knows, well, check for lethal. You know, obviously, I've seen so many videos that this guy's Toast posts about, like, missed lethals. Those are, or something like, I've watched so many of these streams of how many times you've missed lethal, because I sure do that a lot too. I don't want to keep that second-rate bruiser in my hand. I'm going to try this one out. I'm not super impressed by it. Like, obviously on turn 2, don't like, is it time for lethal? Was that me and Kaz or me and Mike? I think it was me and Kaz. I think so. Oh, dang! What are the odds they would print Dark Intimidation and not print a New Nickel Bolus? I'd say high. Alright, go ahead and, like, counterfeit coin, Blade Flurry. No? No? Oh.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, yeah, like, you're right, it was Kaz. I was thinking about it, and I was like, no, that wasn't right.
What to do? What to do?
I kind of want to try and get it with a Flame Waker, but that's greedy. This is an extremely greedy play, so I'm not going to make it. I am, however... I'll wait. Mirror Image alone would have done it as well, but I kind of want a Flame Waker Mirror Image. I'm fine trading 2 mana for 2 mana. Like, yeah, I wasn't getting 4 damage at it, but I got 2 in, 2 out. So, one hand washes the other. That's really good to see, is a nothing play. This means Flame Waker... Oh my... Please be... If this is a pass, this is going to be excellent. Oh my goodness. Alright. Flame Waker, Mirror Image, get in. So the big card that can punish me is... With me, everybody, it's the Skulker. 2, 2, 2, 2, and I am trounced out of the building. Off the top. Alright. Good play, good play. That effectively sets me back way too many cards. No, I think Skulker's pretty bad there. How do we come around this now? Like, I could play the Bruiser. Doesn't look too great. I could Frostbolt it. That'd be fine. Frostbolt, play the Mech Warper. And then, like, try to rely on the secondary bruiser. That actually looks like it could be alright. There really isn't a play other than Bolt Warper there, because this looks really poor in comparison there because of the hero power. So that's a lot of hum and han about nothing there. Ah, vial of poison. Okay, what do you got to follow that up? Anything good or big, pit fighter style? It's just pit fighter. Yeah. Alright, Babbling Book, what you got for me?
I want to cast the spell.
Not so bad. Look, I'm not gonna stop naming cards just because my opponent's playing them all. Yeah. Okay, 15, 4 points in the pocket. We just need to force a few plays. I don't like how down on cards we are. That's hard to come back from. We are going to have to steal this one. So I'm going to be saving Dragon's Breath for the Dome if possible. That's extremely bad, and I might have to burn the Dragon's Breath. Much earlier than I thought, and that also heals that for one. F. I don't even get to make another play in the turn with that. Super bad.
I wonder.
Right now I'm debating killing this or not killing it and trying to ignore it. You say Book into Stormwind first, but I don't think that Book into Stormwind is the line. I don't think we win the game by killing that. Specifically, because, like, say I spend all my resources killing this, there's still a 5/3 Pit Fighter in play, and I don't play anything, and my opponent has 4 cards in hand. They just slam their hand down on the board. Ignore it. Just go. We're going to rely on top decking a Fireball. We don't have time either. We only have about 2 turns at most before lethal damage is presented. Okay, no placement changes that because they have the ability. I haven't placed correctly, but it doesn't matter as they could ping off. I would love for them to trade 6/3 here and, like, not let this have 3 damage, which they might do because of, like, a Flame Strike threat. Because I am a mage, they might run this into it. Yep. I'm sorry, the other way around. Because they are a mage, they might not want to put 3 damage on this card. So that actually bought me some points. That's fine. This is big. Let's just keep pinging. I don't know how much more time we have in this game. The trade there's good. We don't have a Firelands Portal in our deck, is the problem. That was a generated card in our game 1. Just like this Dragon's Breath is a generated card. Midnight Drake has a 6. You have more power there. Can you present a lethal threat? That's the only question you need to ask yourself. I'm at 16. Can you produce another 3 points on the board? If you can, do it. You'll force me to make bad plays. Damn, that's exactly enough. Okay. So you forced my hand, because this is 6, 12, 15, 16. Which means I have to get into a reactive mode, and I don't like it. At that point, we have officially lost, since they were able to present a lethal threat at us. The only play from there is if they didn't present a lethal threat, I could ping my opponent, pass, and then set up a Fireball top deck. Again, you play to your outs. We've been out of this game since We've been out of this game for about 5 turns at this point.
Well played.
I still think the Dark Iron Skulker was the point where it actually turned. I realized that it was a small, relatively small play, but it turned the board from advantage us to gone us. Which he was then able to leverage with Deadly Poison. Wow. Alright. Nice. Absolutely nice. Hit me with a 9-7. This is a good setup. They had a lot of cards in the pocket still. It would have been a hard climb regardless. Alright. But yeah, the turn where the Dark Iron Skulker came down was bad for us. That turned the board into an even board. They were then able to use the power of Deadly Poison to turn an even board into a board that 100% benefits them, because all I had left were 3 toughness minions. I can't wait until the friendly bartender walks into a bar. It's gonna be so good. You don't even know. You actually know. You know exactly what's gonna happen.
Jaina versus Jaina.
You asked for it. Oh, it
Alright, I think this is a full mulligan. I don't want any of these in an opener, and I'd rather have a more powerful 1-drop. I would keep the Bruiser if I already had action, but I do not. 2 mulligans. Oof. This is poor. We need an actual 2-drop in order to function. Thank you. The most generic of curves. Bloodfen Raptor into Shattered Sun Cleric. Welcome to base Hearthstone. This card's a 3/3. This card doesn't exist. What's your 2? Do I care about it? Not really. I think the Bloodfen Raptor's still perfectly reasonable. Ooh, this could get super good. Again, so Haunted Creeper is a card that really could turn powerful with this. If my opponent goes ahead and plays like a Abusive Sergeant or a Lance Carrier. Alright, check out what what I would call a bad play. Would not want to make this play most of the time, but undercosted beef. This is good. This is super good. Like, so the reason I don't like making that play too much is because there's a very obvious ping here. But if they waste the obvious ping on this target instead, Shattered Sun Cleric gets to come down and fix things up. Arcane Anomaly, huh? Well, that does demand a shot from us. Let's go ahead and see what we can do. Kona Cold. We're going to go ahead and take that out and play out Zombie Chow. Zombie Chow is a little poor on this board. Poor on this board. The ping is going to happen. The ping better happen. I'd actually love it if they played a 4, because I could punish. Nope, that's a good play. Alright, what do we want to do next? Shattered Sun ping? Yeah, Shattered Sun Mech Warper, actually.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
Their life total's already very high due to, like, the, Zombie Chow. So I'm gonna try to be leveraging board control with these as much as possible. 5. Ooh, that is a powerful piece of technology you got right there. Let's go ahead and put down the refreshment vendor. That was a very good sweeper that they were able to pull out. That turned our board, as you saw. We lost a lot of minions there. I was hoping to just lose the Babbling Book. If there's a turning point in this game, a point that I look back at, that's likely where it is. Let's see how this plays out, though. I would like a 5/4 here. A Lost Tall Strider. Something I can Flame Cannon and kill. If I have a Flame Cannon ping, I won't be as happy because I want to play the Bruiser. I don't want it to be a low mana investment. I want it to be one card. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. You answered my question very, very specifically. Alright. This deck is kind of weak to AoE? Absolutely. You are not wrong. But that's the way I play Hearthstone. Y'all know that. I am the person who tries not to fear the sweeper because it is a rarity that your opponent has the sweeper, not the rule. If that is a mere entity, I'm going to make you look the fool. Nice. Sick the Toxic Sewer Ooze. You... Oh!
Thank you.
Excellent. Hey, friendly bartender. Okay, that could be a fireball. Could be. Now, one thing I considered there was actually using Kona Cold to try to buy the, just freeze that and attack my opponent, which I actually am likely to do this turn if they produce a large board. Because really, what else am I going to be doing? So let's go ahead and freeze up their board. Attack our opponent for 7, putting them to 13. Next turn's attack, we'll put them to 6. That's safer. Safer against to Northrend, safer against card like... Ooh... What is that? It's not counterspell, that's what it wasn't. Now, to be technical there was a misplay. I assume you all can spot it. Because the question you want to ask yourself was, what was that secret? And depending on what those secrets are, how do you play around them? Was the misplay? I did not play correctly around Ice Block. You are correct. The ping was not something I should have done early. It was something I should have done. The correct sequencing there would have been attack with a 3/1, Frostbolt, Fireball, ping. Spellbender can't trigger unless you target a minion. So Spellbender, it could have been Spellbender, but Spellbender is irrelevant. And also, even like the Frostbolt is how we play around that. Is this just the Mage and Rogue zone? Am I playing like 3 months ago? What's going on? Is this like pre-ban zone? Let's go ahead and mulligan these two. Good cards. I like them. I like the cards. Don't like that cards. Don't like the cards. Draw me a Bloodfin Raptor. Thank you. Show me Flame Cannon. Does Spellbender say target a minion or target? Target a minion. 100%. I have certainty in that. Do you have a Frostbolt Flame Cannon? If not, this is going to look a little awkward for you. This is going to look a little awkward for you. It is also, yeah, it is also a purple. My opponent could, and should, attempt to see if the frog goes correct. The frog is a little more reliable than Flame Juggler, as we know. Flame Juggler always goes face. Frog is actually a 50-50. It's kind of interesting how those two cards just don't work the same. Could be worse.
Thank you. Happy Feast of Winter Veil.
Oh, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect for gift giving. Oh, it's because I gave them a card. Whoops. Maybe that part wasn't so good. Let's...
One day, I'll be a real must cleanse the Sunwell.
The alternate play there, and I'm not really sure how much I like it, would have been bump into this Ancestral Healing it. I find that one questionable. That's poor for us if they have an actual... Ooh. I didn't play around Betrayal, of all things. Interesting. I'm going to be punished for that choice. Alright. Good play. Effigy's looking good, but not what I'm going to play here. I'm actually going to Zombie Chow plus ping this. I want Effigy on a 4. Yeah, Squirrel Token, that was definitely a play I considered. The big reason I didn't go for it was mostly that I wanted more. I want... Actually, I don't know. Thinking about it in like, secondary, it might have been the more worthwhile play, just flat. Anyway. That's all passed and done with. Let's go ahead and start pinging things down. Yeah, the more I think about it, the less I think it was the correct play to not do. That's alright. Yeah, that's not so bad. Now, talking about misplays, that was actually one of them. Definitely should have been Effigy plus the Kabal Crystal Runner. Which I... Wow, that's a good chain. Crap. That's very powerful.
Excuse me, you are on.
Yo! Worst target. And we hope it's not a mirror entity. It's a mirror entity. My reasoning for not playing around the mirror entity there was actually the fact that it was generated by a card. That means it could be any sort of... Oh my goodness. We are so smoked here. I think there were 2 points in this game that... that I can point to that were mistakes. The not using Ancestral Healing on turn 5 was one of them, and not playing the Kabal Crystal Runner into the Effigy was another. We would have gotten a better... Though, a 5/5 is a powerful piece of technology against... Do you have a Polymorph? That would be the... Yo! Good tech! Your hog can't attack anymore. Oh my god. Oh, actually, whoa. Oh no, it's a battle cry. Oh, that's actually better than I thought. Wow. I learned something. I thought it was like one of those statics. for reference, what I'm talking about is South Sea Deckhand. So one win under what I expected from this. They had the lethal regardless. Okay, 55, 29 dust. That's good. No, the card I was thinking of there was the... if you've ever made the mistake with... Okay, thank you. No, it's neutral. With South Sea Deckhand, where it's charge while you have a weapon equipped, and then you, like, attack with your weapon. And it's like, whoops! It doesn't have charge anymore. That's why I thought the hogs were like, anyway, let's open a pack. I had a really good pack earlier today that had a single pack, mind you. One singular freaking pack that had both of these two in it, Wrathion and Mayor Noggenfogger, in the same godforsaken pack. There were a number of people who said 4-3. I would have to go back up in the chat to take a look, but I cannot do that at the moment. I would have to open up another window. How many dupes do we have? A lot still. Went ahead and spent down for 5 more packs as well, so my gold is a little low, but we'll generally keep that up. I only do like an arena a day anyway, so... what do we have that's new? Let's go ahead and take care of that. Yeah. Have you tested Noggenfogger at all? No, I have not. I think this card's extremely good. Maybe not in Constructed, but... we went there. Just cleaning up well before I take the stream down. Who decided to make the Mad Bomber the mayor? I did. That was me. Sorry. I feel bad, but I don't. There's still 3 new. Dragon Priest is a deck I kind of want to play in Constructed because of how powerful the new cards are for it. Oh, it just didn't get rid of some of these. I don't know. I'm really intrigued. I haven't taken a look at Constructed at the moment. I'm sure Shaman's still hanging out near the top. Okay, there we go. Alright, anyway, that's all for tonight. Let me go ahead and pop open this place for next time. I think I might go Priest next time. That'll be intriguing. I wanted to do a Priest... basically, I want to do a Priest game that isn't the sort of gimmicky one we did last time, which was a ton of fun, mind you. But a more general Priest game with, like, 5 Talon Priests or something like that would be really good. I have read the flavor text on Pint Size Potion. So, anyway, thank you all for joining. I hope you all had a good time. I had a pretty good time with this. Yeah, this was good. Good night, everybody.